Hello, dear Aries, and welcome to this week's reading. I'm Empress Rose, and as always, these are very general readings, so take what applies and leave what doesn't, as with literally everything in life. And I want to let you know that these cards are all pre-shuffled and prepared for you before I turn on the camera. All right, Aries, let us see what this Oracle of Mystical Moments is. We're going to start off with that, and it'll give us sort of an intuitive vibe of where we're going with the reading. All right, Aries. What's our message for our lovely, amazing Aries friends? Ooh, very close. Almost wanted to talk, but wasn't ready. All right, Aries. What do we have to say to Aries this week? All right, we got three. I like three. Oh, wow. Okay, so we have Morning Dew Girl. So we have tears. You are gathering them to heal them. This is a transmuting of pain into peace. And this Morning Dew Girl is coming around, and she's going to gather your tears and feed the earth with them, water the earth with your tears. We're going to change this painful situation into one of growth, one that provides growth, which is just basically the job of every human here on the planet, which is to take our difficult situations and to grow and learn from them. So this is a real card of growth. But it's not been easy growth. It's not been all sunshine and a watering cans. This has been something in the atmosphere, something around you has caused some grief. You're not really talking about it, though. There's grief, but you're not talking about it. There's been some sort of ending, and it's caused some sorrow. You're going to grow from this, though. She's literally, this is what she's doing. She's collecting these tears to distribute them someplace where they're going to be most useful. So you will grow from this. You have this protective nest. This is ideas, this is dreams, this is passions. Again, not ready to talk about, which I find interesting because the cards were not ready to talk either. Again, we have a single solitary bird that is quiet, standing there, still with you. You have a lot on your mind. You have ideas on your mind, and you also have ideas in your heart. You have, does that make sense? I hope so. So you're not talking about them, but yeah, this is again not talking about. This is a solemn card where there's a secret that you're protecting. So you're very protective of this this idea that you have. You're keeping it to yourself. And in this one, too, you're keeping something to yourself. You're not talking about it. And then, ta-da, we have Abracadabra. We have just a huge amount of growth. This is an incredible growth card. She's just rocketed up. Her mind is growing. She's growing. The mind has a spiral nautilus type shell on it, and it is, to me, the spiral is a sign of growth, where we go back to the same parts in our lives, but each time we go back to that circumstance or that situation or that idea, we've grown a little, and we can see it from a bigger perspective. And there's always more to grow, and there's always more to learn. And so this is a wish fulfillment card, though. There's a lot of magic in the air here. Big magic, big magician. Something very magical is going to happen. And this is a little bit the vibe I was getting off of this card, is that you're going to be in a sort of a magical process of transmuting something that's very painful into growth. And then we have the growth here. We have the not talking about it. We have the very protective of your ideas. But look at these eggs. There's eggs here, and those are very Those to me are ideas or seeds of ideas. And then we have this growth. So there's a lot of the process of growth here. We have sort of the seeds, the eggs, the growth. We have the water required to grow. So you have a lot of elements here. There's not a lot of sunshine in any of these cards. So there's not a lot of happy-go-lucky joy. But we're waiting for that. That's coming in. It's just not going to be this week. So you're really going to be called to grow a lot from this painful situation. And this protection, you're protecting your ideas right now. You're not ready. They're not ready to hatch. They're not ready to fly. Nothing here is ready to be communicated or to fly. And yet still we have this abracadabra. And abracadabra is very much about words, speaking things into existence, manifesting things through our words. So here we have silence in these two cards. And this is opening up to very special words, very unique words that are going to bring us what we want. So this is a card of some sort of magical communication, a dream of communication, and growth through communication. So here we're being silent and quiet, silent in some grief, silent in some ideas that we're not really willing to talk about. And then all of a sudden, we're going to speak these ideas and there's going to be some wish fulfillment there. All right, so we're going to move to the Santa Muerte Tarot, which again, these have already been pre-shuffled. I just do like a intuitive shuffle or something until I'm ready to lay the cards down. All right, Aries, here's your past, your present, your inner landscape. What's at issue, the environment, to-do list, and the possible outcome. All right, what do we got here? Ooh, we're going someplace good. We're going to the abracadabra. This is reiterating that. Okay, all right. So in your recent past, we have the Hermit card. This is isolation, looking to your own inner light, dealing with your own inner demons. Isolation, which we're sort of all in right now, can be so healthy, even though it's painful. It can really bring you into touch with your true self, without the influence of what do your friends say you are, what does your family say you are, what are these roles and these expectations that you have. So when you take this time away from this, you really have this opportunity to go within and really get in touch with who do you say you are, who do you feel that you are. And it can be a time of, it's a time out that creates a massive inner transformation. So you've isolated from some people and you have, and you've wrestled with some inner demons, possibly even some addiction, but you've isolated and you're looking to the own divine light within you. And it's really so important and powerful to get in touch with that divine light within. And one of the ways that we get in touch with it, we can have divine light in communion with other people, but when we're getting in touch with our own divine light, with our own path, with our own guidance system, that requires alone time, and that requires sitting with ourselves, sitting with our inner demons, and really, really looking at our own inner guidance system, our own North Star. So in your present situation, you have a depression, which I'm seeing this with Morning Dew Girl, this deep sadness. You have a depression, and this card is about, it's the mental nightmare card, but I want to tell you about it. You are in a sanctuary. You are in a safe place. You are the priest of the sanctuary. You are in charge of this narrative that is in your head. So there may be a narrative in your head that is causing you great pain, and it may be of your own making. Now, this isn't the gaslighting card where we tell you it's just all in your head, but there's some sort of conflict that should have been externalized that you internalized and you took it on for yourself. Maybe for good reasons. Maybe you weren't in a space where it was safe to do an external battle. Maybe you weren't in a place where it was safe to say what was on your mind and to speak what you needed to speak. maybe it wasn't safe, but this is asking you to revisit that in the present moment. You're looking at that. And here's a book, here's your Bible that you wrote. You're only halfway through it. So you have some real grief and depression and anxiety going on here. But you need to understand that you are safe, and you need to look at what part of the nightmare that you feel is your own projection, the story you're telling yourself about your situation. The things that you're choosing to see and the things that you're not choosing to see. So there's some sort of internal reflection going on that the depression and anxiety you may be feeling might be caused by something you're choosing. Because this is saying you are safe and you are the priest of your mental sanctuary. So this is asking you to clear that energy, to really work with that internal energy. And, he's got a book. So it might be really important to find an outside source of help, or to learn some new information, or to learn about your situation. From did he write this book, or did someone else write this book? And this is sort of a self-help book, or a book that a therapist gave them, or something like that. So this is, dealing with your anxiety and your depression, and looking at where the parts of it that you took on and chose to think about. Okay, so this is asking you to think about what you're choosing to think about. Think about your thoughts that you're allowing in, and really take charge of that sanctuary. Your insides, your head is your sanctuary. So really, be in charge of that. You are your own priest here, and you are in charge of that sanctuary. So really look at the thoughts and maybe the conflict that you've internalized that should have been externalized. So that's something that's going on in your present situation. In your internal landscape, which this Nine of Swords is also internal landscapey, there's a patience that you are experiencing, or a time passing, or a time standing still experience. And that's what I get from this card, this massive stillness. So this is the Six of Pentacles, and you're just biding your time right now. Internally, you are not you're not being very active in your internal life. There may be things going on externally that are taking precedence, but you do have this sort of passion and a love, and it's within you. And the Six of Pentacles is just this waiting energy. So something inside of you is just sort of in a hold pattern, not a hold pattern, because we do have the tick-tock, we do have the movement of the pendulum going back and forth as time passes very slowly. So within, you're just sort of paused. I feel like you're not rushing forward. You're holding on to something. You're holding your peace. You're holding in silence and stillness, not stillness, silence. At issue, you have the Six of Cups. So this is in the upright, we have the armload of emotions being generously brought to a customer, a table full of customers. A lot of joy in the delivery of this emotion. So we're taking the opposite meaning of the Six of Cups. So you're not bringing something forward. You're not dancing it forward. You're not enjoying bringing an emotional communication or an emotional cup forward. You may have an armload of emotions. It really looks like you've got a nest full of something. You've got dahlia full of dew. You've got an armload of emotions, and you're not talking about it, and you're not bringing it forward, and you're not delivering it to someone. It has to do with the past. obviously it's hard to, I mean, so I'm thinking depression versus anxiety, because anxiety would have to do with the future. So you're dealing with something in the past, but you're not sharing about it and you're not talking about it. And that's what I'm seeing in these first two cards, is not talking about it. So you do have an armload of feeling, an armload of emotion, but you're not sharing it. And that's actually leaving your situation, that's actually holding it back and keeping it from moving forward. That's an issue that you're needing to deal with. So in your environment, we have this 10 of Wands. We have this. I like this card because the 10s talk about the transformation. So the 10s are the completion of a cycle. So you have this completion of a cycle, this passionate, inspirational cycle. You've inspired an entire castle to be brought forward. You've turned this sort of burden of living into a riot of living. This passion has transformed this. So it's a burden that you've put down, that you've transformed. So that's something that's in your environment. Is there something that's sort of happened that you made the best of it, and you turned it around, and you made this passion. It went from being a burden to being a blessing, to being just this riotous passion, this joy of living. And that's what's going on in your environment, is a changing of a transformation in, I want to say, your base chakra, because we have these hip bones right here and it's very bright red. So a changing in how you value your life and how you value yourself, and how you value being alive. So there's a change in that. And I'm wondering if that change is part of this morning dew girl who's collecting these tears that we have in the present moment from this 9 of Swords, who's collecting these tears and transforming them into something where you're going to be able to grow. So your to-do list is this High Priestess. So I also see the morning dew girl represented in this High Priestess. Almost the same look. This dahlia is almost a crown like the High Priestess. It's the same light blue, grayish color as these swords and the High Priestess. So the High Priestess is learning. She's there's not a lot of clarity here. So your to-do list isn't to it's not to throw these eggs out. It's not to expose the internals of those eggs yet. It's not to do anything. It's to learn. It's to learn. I see self-reflection here, but it's just a slight understanding. There's a lot of darkness, and you're learning in this darkness. There's pain. Again, we have this bird here, this single solitary bird. There's one thing that needs to be said and talked about. It's very clear. It should be clear to you. And she's the bird is still with her. That message is still with her. But she's learning. There's just a very little light. She has a key to unlock something, but she's holding on to it, and she's learning about something, and she's reading up on something. So we have sort of this pain. We have the swords around the head. We have this sort of pain and in the mind, and this message that should be spoken but is not being spoken. We have this a little bit of darkness and mysteriousness. So your to-do list is to sort of, I believe, to sort of sit in darkness and learn. We've got a book represented twice here, and I think you need to be reading some kind of book, maybe a self-help book or something, but you need to be exploring the darkness, exploring these dark reaches, looking at this morning dew. And then it's the same vibe we're getting off these Oracle of Mystical Moments. We have these quiet, solitary, holding my energy cards, this one single message, this one bird that could fly but is not. We have that represented here. And then, boom, both decks. We have this wish fulfillment, celebratory energy. And here she is towering over the city. She said the magic words, abracadabra. This message is a magical communication. And take that as you will, but it's something that's going to cause so much rapid growth once it's ready to fly. And so here a possible outcome is the Six of Wands. This is parade energy. This is a very public, and I believe this is public too because she's over the city here. This is public triumph, public growth, public, this is a parade. We're having a parade for someone. We're celebrating. Both of these cards show a lot of upward growth, a lot of dynamic growth. We go from this very stagnant situation of self-reflection and some depression, some emotions, some not talking about it, some of that stuff. And then we go straight from there to sort of this public promotion, this public praise, this wish fulfillment that towers over the city, over the population. So there's some place you're going with all of this stagnancy and all of this holding on and all of this pain. It transforms very quickly into something really triumphant and really, really worth celebrating. So as you're dealing with sort of these thoughts, these darker thoughts, and you're holding on, just understand that you can come to this place of wish fulfillment, and your words will bring you there. There's some sort of message that's going to bring you there, and it's going to cause this rapid growth, and people are really going to enjoy what you have to say. People are going to celebrate the message that you bring out of this place of darkness. So when that bird is ready to fly, get ready, because it's going to be pretty special when you finally say what's on your mind. All right, Aries. Just have this feeling that I want to say I love you so much, and I hope that you have a wonderful week. And please remember to like and comment and subscribe if you haven't already, because you can only subscribe once, but you can like and comment multiple times, and help this little baby infant channel grow a little bit week by week. I really appreciate that. So I hope you have a wonderful week.